Welcome. And it looks like I'm really zoomed in here on YouTube, on Facebook, I should say. But I want to welcome you today to this release and renew ritual. I'm so excited to be here and really just be back into the groove of the flow of my own journey, my own mission, my own purpose. So if you're just joining today and you're curious what we're doing and you haven't already seen, we're going to be doing a release and renewal ritual, a saltwater ritual, which I created my own little saltwater bowl here. So if you're kind of just joining and even if you're watching this in the future here on live on YouTube, make sure to grab yourself some salt water. You can use Himalayan salt or sea salt if you have it. And this particular one, I just want to show you, I put some really pretty shells and some roses I have. And there's some, the salt water from the ocean as well as some sand in it. And then I had these leftover roses that are from a bouquet that I had bought myself. And I put them in there, kind of a sense of kind of like renewal and expansion. So I'll share with you more about what these roses mean as we go through this process. But if you're just joining, again, I want to welcome you. And I want to start by sharing, just a little bit about what we're going to do today, what this means, and how we can use this in our everyday life. And with that being said, make sure to drop in the comments what you're going to be releasing today. And Heidi, welcome. Thank you for joining. And also thanks for already letting know that you're going to be letting go of those long cycles of trauma and fears. That is such a beautiful thing to release and let go of. And so it takes a lot of courage to really show up and say, I'm done, I surrender, because when it comes to letting go, so we're going to start while people join us a little bit on the concept of letting go, releasing, renewal, and what that means, and then how that links to the saltwater ritual, and how that links to your name, and how that links to actually truly letting go, because this ritual that we're going to do today, so you're going to want to stay to the end and follow through this, because we're going to actually go through an actual ritual that I'm going to teach you, and that we're going to actually not just teach you to do, we're going to actually do it together. Because when, we come together and we join in community, that creates connection, and that creates a sense of the power of two is greater than one. And that opens up the doorway to magnify our results. So when I talk about this ritual of the saltwater release, by the way, I just want to say, and I know that on YouTube, on Facebook, you're zoomed in enough. You can actually see the water here. But on YouTube, it's just whited out because there's so much light back here. So, and for whatever reason, I just want to say to the people on that are live on Facebook, I have no idea why my phone has zoomed me in and you're seeing like this much of me and that part. But because I'm live, I'm not going to take the time to try to mess with that. But obviously, everything happens for a reason. And the important thing is I'm here and you're here. And if it bothers you, tune in on live here or in the future on YouTube, because at Twin Flame Expert, because I'm doing this live here as well. And it's coming across fine here. So anyway, again, I just want to kind of, just before I go on, I know a lot of people have joined, so I want to make sure that you understand that you're going to want to stay to this end, because we're going to actually do this. And I mentioned, if you don't already have so, or you didn't get my notification, to make sure to get you some salt water, Himalayan salt, or some like sea salt, and put it in water. And I've created one as a universal one for all of us that I made really super beautiful with some seashells I got on the beach here in Panama City. And for those of you that maybe have been following me on YouTube and even on my Facebook page for a long time, know mostly that I'm in Panama City now, and know that that's connected to me having went through a release process to let go of everything I own, down to, I don't even have a car. I don't have anything but 2 suitcases and all of my gear to do recordings and my computer, my work, but to do it on the go and to travel. Excuse me. And so letting go to me represents freedom, and brings you a sense of like, so what is freedom? And you got to really think about that, because freedom to me is about having every day to experience peace, love, joy, fulfillment. And the virtues of life, so to speak, or I should say the rewards of life for coming into this sense of truly connecting to a piece of you, awakening a part of you that wants to be expressed in this new earth, in this new way, in a sense of joy, peace, love, harmony, all of the things that we talk about in the new age coming, the enlightenment period, the golden age, the moving past, into the age of Aquarius, moving past like the age of Pisces that are struggles and suffering. And we've had these windows of that taking place, and we've went through cycles and layers of the sense of letting go on an emotional level, a mental level, an energetic level, a spiritual level. We're really moving into the sense of this physical level, meaning that our physical life now has to begin to present and match our physical space inside. So we've changed inside. So our external environment can no longer really match who we are. And we're being asked to truly turn the dial of our physical, our life, ourself, into the life that we are to have and experience. And that takes letting go of a lot of things that even in your physical space or in your energy template or your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your habits, your daily actions that you tend to go through. These are things that are keeping you stuck and keeping you held back into this old paradigm of who you've been versus who you are actually to become. And that creates then the resistance. So when we talk today about this release ceremony, and you may have something specific, and even if you have something very specific, like Heidi here has letting go of these long cycles of trauma and fears, this is beautiful. And anybody, I encourage you either here live or in the future to put in the comment what you're letting go of, because this putting and releasing, which is part of this ritual that we're doing today, is a physical manifestation of intention into a physical release. And we as a human being need sometimes tangible results. And the tangible results can come from the sense of I'm truly surrendering, I'm truly letting go, I'm truly moving beyond this in a way that you're physically connected to it. So in this freedom sense, and I made some notes just so y'all know that I wanted to follow, just to make sure I stay on track so I can make sure that I do cover some really important points that I think is important. And for those of you just joining here on YouTube, make sure to maybe go back, but I want to catch you up for a second. We're releasing what's no longer serving us to move forward. And the perfect time to do this ritual, which is a saltwater release ritual. And let's talk for a minute, like what that means, where it came from, and why that's important. So it's an ancient tool. It's an ancient form of physical release that is connected to the Buddhism and Hindu and all kinds of other ancient wisdom and ancient arts. And so there's a lot of tracking in the idea that when you use salt water, it has two components in it that it makes it more powerful than just your intention alone of letting go of something. And those two components has to do with the salt, because the salt absorbs negative energy. And the water also represents its conductor. So it also takes, our bodies are 75% water. So in that, it's an absorber also, but it's a conduit. And it's also, it basically imprints in water, like even our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So when you have these negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you're templating your body, your being, your energy field with these things that are keeping you stuck. And while you might have moved on and no longer thinking these things that are keeping you held back and keeping you stuck and thinking you're releasing them, you've already programmed your cells in your body and your being and your field that is still running on its memory pattern. And so it's unconscious in the habit. So to reprogram that and rewire that, you have to begin to rewire into, first of all, coming into the awareness and the observation of what it is that you continue in these cycles. And why are these cycles continuing to be triggered? Where are the triggers coming from? Underneath of, you might be fearful and you might have this, trauma that's like a tiger still chasing you in your body. and your body is responding in the fight or flight, even if the tiger stopped chasing you, your body's still operating that way. And it's not even just your body, is what I'm trying to say here. It's the energy, it's the pattern, it's the program, it's the cells, the memory of the cells in your body that are filled with water that are carrying this. So this is how this links to our water ceremony today here, that we're doing this purification. And intention is an opportunity for, when you visualize this intention and this release that we do here today, I want you to think about the water in your body. I want you to connect these intentions into the reprogramming of when you think you're letting go of something, intentionally reprogramming the cells and the water in your cells and the DNA and the memory of your template and your energy field, that you're reprogramming it with a combination of two things. One, letting go. And the other, like the letting go creates the space to open up to call in the new, which is how it links to the ocean and the waves, which is why being here, I'm telling you what I'm teaching you here today, I'm doing every day. And that's the thing about this. This is not necessarily always a one-time thing. It's reprogramming, it's rewiring. So you're creating new thoughts, feelings, actions, and habits that you have to incorporate into your daily life, into your daily plan, into your daily everyday actions and habits. That takes time to rewire that, to reprogram that. It takes intention. But the key in it is when you are aware of it and you become the observer of your life and what's going on and the triggers that are triggering these things underneath of all of this sense of the tiger chasing you, which is a fear, and what trauma does to our cellular membrane to continue to have the fight or flight, it actually allows you to basically intentionally, through intention, it helps you accelerate and speed up the process by having that much awareness about what's going on in and around you. You can accelerate it. And the other piece in that is then, so I'm going to kind of backtrack here because we're talking about the salt and we're talking about the water. So the salt is no different than like say people use selenite all the time for clearing and cleansing and absorbing negative energy. Salt does the same thing. And especially, sea salt, and because it's connected to the ocean. And so, it has ions in it. The ions, in a scientific standpoint, it draws in the energy. And that's also how the water, like if you think about it, when we have like a full moon and a new moon, when a woman is pregnant, she basically, like I used to work in labor and delivery, and when we would have a full moon, you could bank on a lot of babies being born because the water would draw out, and that breaks women's water and has the baby to come, right? So with that being said, that's why it's perfect for you to use this energy of a full moon or a new moon, because that links to the drawing. Like our bodies have water. So in that water, it's like these waves of the ocean. It's a universal energetic law of a pull. So, the ocean is vast and the waves come in and then they go out, right? So that is a representation of the release to open the space for the new to come in. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of go back just quickly and just recap on the point of why I'm saying this is because the salt becomes an absorber of the negative energy, and the water represents purification. And this is an ancient art, an ancient technique way, way back that has been proved even scientifically to create the sense of this letting go, to create this space. And so I want to just briefly mention that about, again, the art and the point of the letting go. Because, what is our biggest reason to not let go? That's kind of one of the things I want to mention here now. And I'm going to tell you what mine is, so that way you can kind of compare this to yourself. Because here's the thing. Whatever it is you're choosing to let go of today, there's something probably below that and below that and below that. Because you're only aware, Heidi, of the repeated cycles of trauma and the fears, and you may or may not even know where these fears are coming from that are coming up that's keeping you stuck. But under that fear comes a resistance to something, to letting it go, whatever it is. The resistance comes up because you have a fear of letting it go. Well, why? And if anybody has the answer to this now or in the future, put it in the comment. But I'm going to tell you why. It's because you're not trusting God, the universe, yourself. You're not in a place of fully letting go enough to relax. And why is this important, especially as we move into like this new year and a new life and a new version of ourselves? Is because we need to release identities, physical things, like to let go my whole life, right? And the resistance to hanging on to something when something is better for us keeps us stuck into the old pattern, the old cycles, the old life, the old version. And it's our resistance to letting that go that's blocking us from receiving what it is we actually want. And this is where the instant manifestation comes in this, when you can get what I'm telling you, and not just on a mental level, but you get it on a level that comes from a place of heart coherence and an energy level, like your energy template surrenders, and you have to feel this shift inside. When you feel this shift inside of this letting go of your resistance to the change that it takes to release the fears and takes to let go of the cycles, because let me go back to one thing, the cycles that you're talking about, Heidi, of repeating because you haven't let go of the resistance. And because you haven't let go of the resistance, it's because you don't trust that when you let go, that you're going to be protected, you're going to be safe. The universe is going to provide for you opportunities that are bigger and better that you could have chose for yourself. But when you fully surrender into this letting go aspect, you're saying and giving the universe and God this whole like level of a connection, saying, I trust you. I'm going to open up and I'm going to allow what I need for my journey to come to me. And when you do that, it will actually then open up opportunities, open up things that are magical, open up this space to allow you to receive what it is you're actually hoping for, you're actually wanting. And so the key here is then to go deeper, because there could be a lot of things that you can let go of. And even if that's a conscious thing that you're saying today you want to let go of, like for you, Heidi, letting go of the long-term cycles and the traumas, that's great. But get specific. What are the fears you want to let go of? And then instead of focusing on just saying, I want to let go of the cycles, go beyond that, go deeper than that. And know that the only reason the cycles are continuing is because you're resisting changing to a new way, which is keeping you held in the cycle and letting go of whatever it is that you're not trusting that's creating the fear. Because the fear is just a representation of your resistance of not trusting, basically. So I invite you today, as we go into this and we go through a process of some things that I'm going to walk you through to help you even map out, feel these things, that you can go into that space and energetically truly surrender to God, basically. Truly surrender to the idea that the universe has your back and that you can trust this process. Because if you can do that, your manifestation will become instant. Now, I want to share with you a story about my own story with this process that happened many years ago. It was whenever I was going through, The Secret had just came out. So this was probably in 2006. So this is kind of how far back my journey goes, from a sense of law of attraction, manifestation, conscious work, conscious effort of, the inner work and, personal development and spiritual growth. And a friend of mine had invited me. I'd watched The Secret movie, which is, if you haven't watched it, it's really good, but it also is limiting. So it's just kind of a beginner's new doorway of awakening and awareness and stepping into the idea of this sense of manifestation being a representation of your inner reality, which is what we're talking about here today. So a friend of mine invited me to go to a James Arthur Ray workshop. It was just an evening kind of workshop. And while I was there, he talked about the idea of everything I'm talking about here, and talked about the resistance and the letting go and the hanging on and why you're stuck. And because if you want radical change and a shift in your life, that means your thoughts, feelings, and actions have to make a radical shift, because the faster you make that radical shift, the faster you get to breakthrough. The greater the resistance, the greater the breakthrough, which equals the greatest reward. So the stronger your resistance is to letting go and changing, that means the greater your breakthrough is going to be. So if you're up against this resistance and it's strong and it's hanging on, know that you have a huge breakthrough coming, and it will be most transformative in your life. And so at that night, whenever, we were there, he had this offer where he offered, some package to go see him for the whole 3-day live in San Diego. And there was a price tag to it. And I've done a lot of personal development. I've paid a lot of money for, the development I've had through different mentors and teachers and programs and all these things. And which is an investment that says I'm worthy of, what it takes to be in the presence of these people that's going to help me reprogram my mind, right? Which is why I also do what I do here today, because I am that passionate about the things I've learned and helping other people do the same thing. But obviously you have to be a willing participant to come in and then the level you come in with somebody like that, the level of your resistance that comes up, that's the level of your breakthrough with that person. And that's the same thing. I see that with clients that I work with myself now. So with that being said, he basically, I knew inside of me how much resistance I had to accepting that offer. The price tag of it, would I get my money back? That called for travel to get to San Diego. Could I afford it? All these things. But all I can tell you inside of me, it was I could feel that much resistance and know that resistance was actually the breakthrough I needed, that represented the breakthrough in my life, because that brought up all the resistance I had to money and all kinds of things in my life at the time. And so I ended up signing up, and a friend of mine that was with me, it was if you sign up and you bring a friend, you could bring a friend for free. It was part of the package. So her and I split the thing, and we both went to San Diego. Well, that night he asked us to write down 3 things that we wanted to create. And so this wasn't even planned, but I'm going to pass this on to you, this torch. And I want you to really pay attention to the story, because it's very impactful what I'm about to tell you. And it wasn't even part of this, but it's part of it, but I didn't realize it. Okay. So the 3 things I wrote down was that I wanted my dream car that had been on my vision board for 10 years at that point. I wanted to have X number of money to put that year in a bank account for savings. And that I wanted my son to get I wanted enough money for my son to go to the college he wanted to go to, because it was a private college and it was much more expensive than a normal even college. And so in that process, he said, what do you want to create by the end of this year? And it was pretty early in the year when this happened. On my way home that night, I had a car accident and my car was totaled. Okay. So the next day I'm in the car dealer dealing with negotiating my new car. And it was the car, I was getting the car that I put on the paper the night before through my spiritual teacher, which, by the way, I just got to tell you something. I'm going to tell you now so you can really zone into this. He passed away just a couple of days ago. That has left me really deepened and saddened in my heart, because there was a huge connection I had with him on so many levels. And in the last few years, I worked with him much deeper on deeper levels that are just life-changing and transforming. And I'm really saddened. So I want to, as I'm saying this and it's coming through, which wasn't planned, I just want to acknowledge him and his legacy and his wisdom, and to know that some of the things I teach are the things he taught me. And I want to just, give a moment of gratitude and honoring him, since he just transitioned and is no longer with us as a couple days ago. But anyway, so the next day I get my dream car. He had me write on this paper. And while I'm there, my accountant contacts me, and she said that I saved in taxes, and it was the exact dollar amount that I had put on the paper saying I wanted to have in savings by the end of the year. And 2 days later from that, my son got an award letter showing he got more back in scholarships than we'd even planned for, which meant that basically, he could go to that college, and it was going to put me in a position to be able to afford to send him to that college. Now, I was in such gratitude. Now, let me just to say something. That is instant manifestation. Okay? Instant manifestation. And this is what the goal that I want to teach you today with this. And that's how that links to this. But I wanted to give you the background of where what I'm talking about came from. We didn't necessarily do the saltwater technique, but what I'm telling you today is I don't want you just to put, write down what you want to let go of and what you want to create and open the space for, and put it in water, that even though that is powerful and it's symbolic and it's going to amplify your results, you have to make an energetic shift inside of you that releases this resistance that's blocking you from making some kind of form of leap off the end of the cliff that has no idea what you're leaping into, which is what I just did when I left Sedona, to know that you're opening up and you're trusting God and the universe to take you into a place that is going to provide for you, that's going to support you, that's going to open up and allow you to expand into who you came here to truly be, feel, and have. And so this is what I've been working on. And to take the ancient art of a saltwater ritual and to be able to amplify those results, and then to come here and share this for the power of connection and community, to do this as a collective, again, that amplifies the process. So I just want to check my notes and see if there's anything I didn't want to share before we start the process. And if you are just joining, make sure to grab some salt water and sea salt water, hopefully, or Himalayan salt water. And I made this really pretty bowl of salt water with some shells that I found out on the beach, and some roses that I had that were drying out. So let me just check my notes, and feel free, I'll have a little Q&A. If anybody has questions, either now or if you're, watching this later, please make sure to let me know. So, I just want to recap one reason why this works. Okay. So it works because we're energetically changing our vibration by putting an intention into this paper through energy, that the energy then is going into the salt, and the salt is absorbing the negative energy and purifying the energy. So if we can imprint our own water inside of us with, thought, feelings, and emotions, and which, by the way, if you've never heard of Dr. Emoto, which talks about and does science experiments where you took ice crystals and played them in beautiful music, and then they looked at them under microscopes and had beautiful crystals. But then on the ones where, say, people had negative emotions or feelings or bad words or songs that were low vibration, it was all droopy and melted. So that's what's going on inside of us. So think about every time you have thoughts that are limiting, doubting, they suppress your energy. So how this works is we're letting go energetically through intention and the power of intention, creating a symbolic release that is making a connection between our mind and our body, that as we bring the connection in the mind and the body, then what that's doing is that's a physical, tangible result that's helping us physically let go of something. So now through the psychometry of our brain thinks, oh, I did something physical. I did something, so it must mean it works. right? And that's on an unconscious level of how to reprogram your brain. But through that is also, again, the manifestation of the intention and the power of intention, which, by the way, if you've never read Dr. Wayne Dyer's book on the power of intention, oh my gosh, it's one of the best books I think he ever wrote. Check that out if you really are looking to make some changes. And I actually have in my links below on YouTube, and I don't have this in there, but I'll create this in there, where I have a list of things that are like ascension tools that you can find on Amazon that are the things I would recommend. They're ascension detoxes and things like that. And I haven't made the list of my playlist. I've always recommended books in there yet, but I will. Well, I have my own books, but not books I would recommend. I'll put that in there later today. So anyway, this helps you then to create a coherence in your heart and between your mind and your heart, that now your heart connects to the sense of belief, okay? And then when you start to believe something and you start to trust that you can believe it. So I'm going to tell you what I do in this too, this power of trust thing, because this is what we're all doing, is building a trust meter. So the more you can let go, the more, and you see tangibly your results showing up, manifesting instantly, like we were just talking about, and you have instant results, the more you can believe that when you let go, it's true. And then when you believe it's true, the more you can let go. And the more you let go, the more you trust. And the more you trust, the more you open yourself up to believe. And the more you believe, the more you trust. And you create this trust meter in yourself that elevates your ability to surrender on bigger and bigger and bigger levels. Now, if you're in this place that you're feeling so stuck and you're having these fears come up and you're having all this trauma and it's repeating cycles, you need a leap of faith that is jumping off a cliff that says, I don't know what's on the other side of it, but I'm just willing to be like, I'm going to relax. And for me, I've done this many times, and I want to tell you like a little bit about like how I do that, how I manage that, and why I do it. Because for me, there's nothing more important in this world than my sanity, my sense of peace inside, and my ability to find joy, purpose, and fulfillment in everything I do and in my life. And I could live on the beach. I could live in a tent, and I don't care what I have, as long as I have these things you can't take from me. And if I have these things that you can't take from me, then what I'm saying to the universe is I trust what that's going to be, because inside of me, I'm unshakable. I'm unstoppable. I don't need that stuff. Do I want it? Yeah. And can I have it? Yeah. And you're going to actually get it when you get what I'm saying. And it steps you up in these octaves of belief that allows you to relax. So here's something else I want you to think about as we let go and do the ceremony and ritual today. Where are you? One, as I said, not trusting, but when was the last time that you truly relaxed? When was the last time? And I don't mean just sit down because you've been working all day or you've been getting this done or that done, but when have you sit down, went inside yourself, felt a connection to you that says, I feel at peace. I feel renewed. I feel like my thoughts are not all over the place. That no matter what is going on out here, that inside I feel relaxed. And let me tell you how I also work on that is staying present. So while we might have this long-term goal, or we might have outcomes that technically we want, and part of the letting go comes from the letting go of outcomes, especially, on this twin flame journey, right? That when you let go of the outcome and you trust, like I'm talking about, that your highest good, which will be better than what you think you want anyway, is already taken care of, because you have surrendered to God and the universe, and you've put that in the hands of the unknown, and you let go of your resistance now. You stop having such rigid thoughts that block you, because a rigid mind creates a rigid body that creates rigid energy that creates a rigid life. And that is a piece of the rigidity that's the resistance that's running in cycles inside of you, that's got a tiger chasing your tail. And that keeps you on overload. That keeps you from, when you sit still, you try to just be present. Now, Some people think that like meditation is just a sense, and mindfulness is just a sense of nothing in your mind. No, that's not it. If you were trying to do nothing, you're going to create more resistance. It's going to create more thoughts you don't want. But what that really is for me, and what I've learned in that is, how does my heart feel today? What am I grateful for? How do I feel in a sense that I actually enjoy today? I actually am loving like what I'm doing today. That takes getting to know yourself. That takes some time to sit down and practice with yourself, to listen to yourself, to listen to your heart, to listen to the part of you that wants to be heard. Now, a piece of this whole thing, I'm getting chills when I say this, so somebody needs to hear this. Probably lots of people need to hear this, because that comes from a sense that we have came and grown into this idea that we're not being validated, we're not being seen, we're not being heard. And therefore, we think we got to fight for everything, that we got to show up and make everything happen, and that we got to stay in control, and that we have to hang on, and that if we don't, it's all going to fall apart, right? And that keeps the cycle going, because if we were to let go, everything's going to fall apart, right? So that's where your trust comes in, that I mentioned about knowing that when you let go of the control. So now I'm going to go take you deeper into the idea of when you're letting go, you're not just letting go, again, of the thoughts, feelings, the emotions, or the idea that you don't trust. Trust is under it, but you're letting go of control. Thinking you're the one in control of your life, everything that happens, and there is no promise for tomorrow other than what you choose to make it, and how you choose to show up, and how you choose to navigate your journey from a place of surrender, allowing, enjoying. And so let me talk about this ocean. Then I promise you we're going to get into the ritual. Okay. I went on this little tangent that like obviously needed to happen, but it's okay, because that's why I allow things to flow through me. And this is a piece of what we're talking about. I might have a plan to come here and share with you a ritual and talk to you about release, but there's nothing like, I don't like teach and tell, I show and share, and I allow the divine to come through me, and I give it space to speak what needs to be said and take you on a journey with what needs to happen. And if I get off track and do reroutes, then, I always kind of pull it back, and that's a representation of life. So I want you to think about this ocean out here, and how vast it is, and how big it is, and how grand it is. Do you think you can control the waves here? Do you think you can grasp onto this and get out there in an undertow? And do you think you're going to be able to control it? No, because if you try to control it, it's going to take you down, right? And I want you to know that this vast ocean is vast, the vastness of life, the vastness of, how we show up and the life we live. There are that many possibilities in our life. There are that many opportunities, and there are that many things that could, be open if you let go and you're open to, the whole universe to come to you, and you allow that. You're not sucked under, you're not towed under, and you're not dragged under fighting it, So, all right. Let me check my notes one more time and make sure I covered it. So we talked about, if anybody's just joining, we're doing a release ceremony. Grab you some salt water and preferably sea salt, Himalayan salt, or something like that, so that way we're going to symbolically let go through intention of what we want to let go of, and we're going to open the gateway and the doorway to what we want to bring in. But we do not want to do this through action only. We want to do this through energy. We want to feel the release. And I didn't, on my story about how I manifested everything on my paper that I told you about a while ago, when all of everything came the very next day after I did what I did in my resistance, and I took that leap of faith and I took that jump, basically what I did is that opened the opportunity to let everything in that I had been like, that was sitting at my door, right? But I felt the shift inside. And again, you need to feel, when I'm talking about, you need to feel it. You can't just know it. You can't just believe it. You just can't go through some ritual. You have to come into this sense of bringing it into your heart and letting from there the heart coherence, which has more magnification of of vibration, and how we create is through our heart, not our mind. So, through manifestation, and that's why I was talking about the Secret movie came more about thinking of it just being from your mind when it's really more of your heart. But it takes the beliefs of the mind to change to be able to connect between your mind and your heart and your body for it to take place. Okay, so we're doing a symbolic release ceremony, and I've already talked to you. If you missed it, you're going to want to hear from me about how it works, why it works, and what exactly it is, and where it came from. It's an ancient art. I mentioned about when to use it. When you're under a lot of stress, you want to let go of old patterns, new moon, full moon, new year, fresh starts, all of that really can help you. So we're kind of there. Okay. So, you want to, if you're wherever you are, if you get a piece of paper, pen, water, and if you don't know, I'm going to be doing a collective release for everyone here. And my collective release is also symbolic to me for what it is that I'm going to personally. Okay. And that is resist for me. I'm going to let go of this release of combination of control and release of the idea that I have to manage everything and put it into the hands of God to trust what I need for my journey will show up. And so on one side, we'll put basically what you're letting go of. On the other side, you're going to put what you want to open up. And I want you to think of it as being symbolic to the waves going out, waves coming in. And I will walk you through like a visualization. And I invite you to even, like, when we get there, to close your eyes and connect and visualize some of the things that I talk about and share with you. So, all right. If you got your pen and paper handy, which I know some of you do because I sent out emails to some of you, and I even had people respond to that, people knowing that they were showing up for it. And so you probably got my email about being able to bring pen and paper and salt water. So, okay, let's take a moment to just truly get connected here. And even now, before we start with the writing down, I want to just call in all of our guides, our angels, our higher selves. And I want you to take a breath, and I want you to feel that breath as if it is the waves of the ocean and the purification and bringing in the new. And allowing yourself to truly get that breath into where when you release it, you can feel your body relaxing. And like I mentioned, I want you to think about yourself trying to get present in this moment and to think about this as your opportunity to truly take a moment to be still, to be inside, to be relaxed. Relax in your thoughts and your energy and your motion and your breath. And we do that, we begin to connect our brain, our breath, and our body together as one with that sense of awareness, intention, and belief that we don't have to fight for this breath. That when we take this breath, we know we're going to get it. The breath of life. Just like we know the wave's going to come in and we know the wave's going to go out. We don't have to control those things. Just breathe for a second. And I want you to truly feel yourself relax. Truly feel your mind soften. And truly feel your heart open. And we're going to ask for your unconscious to bring up for you into your awareness what it is that you need to let go of today. Now I'm just going to hold space for just a minute while you really connect to this, okay? I don't even want to speak for 1 second for you to get you kind of out of your own feeling, your own listening. I'm going to be still for a moment and you connect to this and feel inside yourself. What is it you need to let go of? Where have you not seen your value, your worth, the true version of you that wants to be seen? Where have you been ignoring your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions? Continue to breathe. Feel your body relax. Now, I want you to take a moment now to write down what it is that came to you that you want to let go of. And underneath that, I want you to write down, why do you not trust this process of letting it go? What are you not trusting of whatever it is coming up, whatever fear, whatever resistance, whatever control, whatever it is you're controlling? What is it you're controlling? Why? And why do you not trust that letting it go, that you'll be okay? And just keep feeling your body, keep listening. I'm doing the same, and I'm writing down for myself and the collective. And breathe through it, because you might feel resistance in your body as we're doing this. And I feel resistance kind of coming through my body, my heart. And what I can tell you is, what I want to tell you, it's coming through to me, is the resistance that you're closed off in your heart from allowing your heart to open up and receive love. Now, the reason I say love, I want you to know that the love connection to that. Hello, everyone. There's a lot of people saying hello. Is the trusting that if you love something, that you'll lose it. This could be a person. This could be a thing. This could be connection to the idea of receiving help. How many people won't allow help into their life, and they block help and receiving help? I know I've been there. I'm still learning this. But let me tell you what, more help than I've ever had in my life is showing up right now. I'm not asking for it. I'm just open to receiving it. Now I'm linking that to this feeling of some sort of abandonment, some sort of fear of and I'm having a vision, and I'm seeing and I'm feeling this sense of feeling safe and secure and feeling embraced, feeling love, the feeling of being in it, the feeling of experiencing it, the feeling of what it feels like is protection. Okay, so if everything I just said, the letting go of control is not feeling safe enough, not feeling protected, making you feel like you got to stay in control. So where can you stand up, show up, and speak up for yourself? That is the only thing you control. You can't control this ocean. You can't control life. You can't control the river. But you need to stop swimming upstream. And you need to allow yourself to float with it and allow yourself to go in the sense of this ease, grace, and the sense of being open and receptive to the idea that you are safe. And the thing about this trust is to know that you don't find that outside of you in anything or anyone. And there's no amount of money that can make you feel this. It's you being able to go inside yourself, trusting the universe in you that you are okay. And so when it comes to you having this anxiety and you having these cycles of trauma repeating over and over, know that if you can pause and if you can stop, and if you can imagine that the waves, standing at the ocean, we're going to do in a minute as we actually truly release this, and visualize yourself in facing the ocean and the waves coming in and going out and feeling your feet in the sand, that you have no control over this, but you can be present, you can experience it, you can see the vastness, you can experience the calmness, the stillness, and the peace within. And to know that if the universe and God can put together an ocean and have these waves through the laws of attraction and the laws of the universe to create a magnetic force that allows the waves to come in and the waves to go out. You're welcome, Monica. You're welcome. That you can surely trust God to handle this, take the wheel of your life and handle things for you, at least in this moment, right? In this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I'm okay and everything is okay. That is how you train your brain to get out of fight or flight and to come into stillness and this now. And that will turn off the monkey mind. And that will allow you to connect to your heart. And that will help wash away through the purification of the ideas that continue to block you in fear, doubt, and disbelief, and lack and limitation. That are the programs that have been passed down through generations that we're letting go of. So now, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to go through the visualization of letting this go into the visualization. We're going to then go into what you want the universe to bring you in place of that. And then we're going to go into putting it in the water. Okay? So, close your eyes. Again, connecting again to your breath, your body, and your brain. Knowing that you have some tools, resources, and a way now that you can connect to God through the presence of this moment, in this day, in this vastness of the universe, and in the vastness of life, and in the vastness of all the things you have no control over. That exists. So in that space, imagine yourself standing in front of this vast ocean that is right behind me here. I've got the window open. You may or may not hear the waves, but I'm hearing the waves. I want you to see how vast it is, how grand it is, how beautiful it is, and how out there on that horizon, as far as you can see, is nothing but sky and water. And the stillness is way out there, right? Way out on the horizon is nothing but stillness. That's a representation of you, your life, and what it's like on the inside to be one with God. And when you come into this radical surrender, this radical presence, and this radical connection to yourself, you open up pathways and the doorways to the God within, to be the embodiment and the expression of the universe inside of you. And to know that you are energetically a match to that stillness in this ever-given moment and the ever-given presence of this now, this here, and this place, that we are all one. One with our higher selves, our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, together, unified collectively into the collective universe and into the universal presence of God. And we ask and we call upon that opportunity to find stillness in our hearts and to anchor this energy in from the heavens to the earth and through our hearts. And to open our hearts from this place of love, gratitude, connection, peace, stillness, joy, enjoyment, to know that every day when you show up and you start your day like this in the presence of this vast ocean and this vast grandness and these vast waves of life, that you're only trying to surf the waves between the resistance and the surrender. And that the moment you come into the radical surrender, that the moment you come into your heart, and that the moment you come into your heart, the moment everything opens up, and that you open yourself to all the grandness, the vastness, the possibility of those waves bringing to you everything you want. But the only thing that's blocking you is your block of the idea that you got to control, and that these things are coming up that you're resisting letting go of. So I want you to imagine what it is you put on your paper that you want to let go of. And if you're just joining us and you have not put anything on a paper yet, I want you to, in this moment, just let come to you what it is you want to release today, what it is that's holding you back from finding this stillness, this vastness, this peace inside of you, that's not allowing you to connect to your heart and feel fulfilled in every day that you show up in the moment, living now, that you only have control over, that you find peace, stillness, love, protection, safety. And that there are no accidents in life. There are no accidents to the idea that we're all here in this grand universe at this given time and presence of this moment. And that this whole shift in consciousness, as we go through this shift in realities and we go through these shift in paradigms, and we are letting go collectively, universally, and in the whole world, the things that no longer serve us, we're going to ask that we are given grace. And in that grace, we can truly put and let go of all of our highest good, of the things that no longer serve us, but only keep the things of the highest good. The things that we might have thought of the highest good may no longer serve us. And you're hanging on to that because it's a piece of what you thought you still needed to get to your next level. But in this quantum shift, this quantum release, this timeline compress, we no longer need to go through these reroutes and go through these ideas that once served us, that no longer serve us. That's part of the resistance, the process, and creating the chaotic cycles. I want you to imagine yourself just diving into that ocean and thinking of it as a baptism in this ever given moment, that that wave is coming through you with that water, and it's templating you and all your cells down to the cellular membrane, and that salt water is purifying, it's magnifying, it's releasing, it's polarizing, and it's excreting out of you all the negativity. Letting go of what is no longer serving you. I want you to bring that into your knowing, your feeling, in your heart, in your body, your energy. I want you to feel a shift of not just mentally thinking you're letting go here. I want you to feel your body let go of what you're hanging on to. Where you feel that in your heart contracting and in your solar plexus contracting, that is that resistance of your lack and ability to hold on. Go deeper into that. Breathe into that. And know and allow yourself to trust this moment right now. To trust that you've shown up here either live or in the replay. To know that you're here for a reason, and that this is a grand divine appointment for you to be able to open and allow. Now feel that wave coming into you of the wave of this vastness, of this water coming into you, and that you are feeling what it's like to receive the love, to receive the peace, to receive the joy, to receive the sense of stillness, the sense of presence, the sense of being one with your own heart, the ability to listen to your soul and to connect to a part of you that's not been heard, and that you want validation and you want to be heard outside of you that can only be done within you. Now let go on this energetic level what it is you're choosing to consciously let go of today. As we now invite in the wave, now that we're open, our energy is not constricted. Our hearts are open. Our voice is open to speak up. And I can feel this sense of somebody's throat chakra being closed off and speaking their truth to people. And if you can tell, it's coming in and out of my voice. This is a big one for people because they don't speak up to people and they show up and they don't set boundaries that's blocking them from being their truest, highest, best version, because in their experiences, they are not standing up, showing up, and speaking for themselves. It's keeping you limited, locked into the old patterns and programs that you don't get out of. So just imagine this wave of energy coming in and clearing and opening up your throat, allowing you and your vocal cords to express yourself from the heart, to get out of the idea that the mind controls the scenarios and situations, and that where you put your intention in conversation and communication through that aspect, if you think that it's going to be conflict, there will be. But if you learn to speak from your heart and you show up from this place of your ability to express how you feel, how you see things, and set a boundary for yourself to know that this doesn't represent my highest self, and I need to tell that person why it doesn't resonate with me and why I need to move forward beyond this experience and set this boundary, it will clear itself. And if that person's meant to be there, be with you, they will be, because they'll honor and respect you, and you just taught them a lesson. On the flip side, if they don't and it triggers them, that's their wound. And in that place, you need to surrender them to God and know you have no control over their own lessons here. And the only thing you can do is come more into yourself. Now, imagine yourself from this higher place, this higher state, opening up to your highest good and asking the divine guidance to, throughout the next few days, today, in this moment, show you what it is that you need to experience to live the best version of yourself, the highest version of you. And the person that came here to experience and embody the joy, the love, the peace, the serenity, the relaxation, and the letting go of this sense of being in control and knowing you can trust this process of the universe, because through these laws of give and take and the ocean and the waves coming in and out, they're harmonic. You see, that's the laws of the universe, is harmony, which is a part of why my name is Harmony. It's about give and take, receiving in harmonic exchange to the level that represents the alignment of you and God. And when you get out of alignment with yourself, that's when the chaos happens. That's when the resistance happens. That's when, the fears come out. The control comes in and sets in. I'm asking you right now to choose to step into the space in yourself, the alignment of you and God, and in this harmonic exchange of these waves of the give and the take, and allow yourself to receive all of yourself at the highest version of you. And I want you to just feel what that would be like to be in the sense of peace, relaxation, love, presence, mindfulness, and connection to your heart. And from that place, what could you create? Because when we let go and we want to manifest, it does not mean we just sit back and let the world go round. We have to take action. But where do we take the highest action? How do we show up and serve in a place that is beneficial, that is helping? And you do that through your own heart, your own passion, your own ability to know that how you show up every day makes you feel good. That's your only job in this universe, is to show up and feel good every day. From there, everything that's missing will come to you, because you trust that God will bring you the people, the opportunities, and everything you need to create that life inside of you, around you, and in your everyday walk and path. So now we're going to kind of come back into this space, cleansed, purified, connected, grounded, protected, in a sense of openness, love, peace, oneness. And I want you to take a moment to write down what it is you want to create from this place, this version of you, this sense of your heart. What is it that going forward in this life, in this world, in this new year, what do you want to take with you? Think of yourself going on a vacation and like, what can you leave behind that's not going to serve you? What is it? And one of the things I encourage you, I've done this so many years before I have nothing left to do it with now, because I moved with everything. I sold everything. I have nothing. Although I do have a few things I just decided to get rid of today that were some Christmas things. I bought little dollar things to set around to make me feel like Christmas here in the beach. But what is it that you can let go of in your physical space? So if you don't think you can do it in your mental space, your physical space, your heart space, what can you let go of in your reality as a, relationship, the twin flame, the idea of something physical that you feel attached to that you can't live without, but it's creating chaos in your life? And, what is it you can release and surrender, right? But in that, by doing so, the freedom it brings you, what is going to come into your life? You're opening up, you're receiving. What is it you could bring in place of it? So if these things are not allowing you to love it, use it, then lose it, right? You've heard that saying, love it, use it, or lose it, right? And this is thoughts, feelings, emotions, people, experiences, jobs, careers, like everything. So if you're not using it and you're not loving it, let it go. But this is all, the whole job is to love ourselves, love life, love those around us, and to love what we do and to experience love. And so if you don't want this, what would you love instead? So in the paper that I asked you to write down what it is that you're letting go of that you don't like, I want you to, on the contrast of that, what is it you would like instead? But I'm going to use the word love, okay? So you don't like this, but what would you love instead? Because when you truly love something, it comes from your heart, that adds the power of the manifestation and the heart coherence that creates more powerful than the mind, right? And that's how we can technically trick our mind when we go into our heart space and create from our heart, not our mind, okay? So in that, what would you like to create instead? Okay. So if we're letting go of control collectively that I've wrote down on this paper, I'm going to tune in now, see what it is we're going to bring in. And I can already tell you it's peace, love, joy, safety, trust. I'm going to start with trust. So if we're in control, what would we love instead of control? We'd love to trust, right? Okay. So collectively, we're letting go of control of our lives, knowing we can't control the ocean and how it, the waves and, the river, we can't go up it, right? We can try, but it's sure going to take us under, like I said when we started this. So we need trust. So in that, I want you to go into your own self. What do you want to create in your life, right? Because you could put down, and I told you the story of the car and the money and the, my son's, college. Those are a reflection of the inner resistance within. So if you can get what I'm talking about, the surrender and resistance, then when it comes to the physical things you want in your life, you have the tools to master creating those, because you can create those from that place. But this also comes from within, around us, but outside of us in. So the things outside of you might be a piece of what's continuing to keep you stuck in the inner cycles, because you're just putting up with it because you're used to it and it's familiar. And all the things I'm telling you to do is creating new habits, new familiar habits that are unfamiliar with us. How many people find it to be familiar to wake up and feel gratitude, to feel peace, to feel like they can trust what's going on, to not be in control, to feel a sense of enjoyment and fulfillment in their daily life? Well, not very many people can say that they do that. And if you're doing it, it's the self-mastery that it takes to get into that space. And kudos to you for doing the work to get there. But that's the work it takes to get there. And that is you making a conscious choice to do that. All right. So that being said, I want you to write on your paper what it is you're bringing in. And we're just going to kind of trust this process that, you know, God brings to us what we're requesting on a collective scale here of what it is that we are guaranteed to receive when we let go. We're guaranteed to receive because when we let go and the ocean goes out in that wave, it comes back, right? But it comes back magnified. It comes back in a reflection of what you let go of. And as I told you, the greater your resistance, the greater your breakthrough, the greater your reward. Okay? So I'm going to also tear this up into little pieces. And if you don't have salt water and you want to come back to this later, I have salt water here that is from the ocean, as well as got some sand in it, some shells, and some roses. And I told you I would tell you what the roses mean in a minute, and I will once we do this. Okay? So now let's actually, and I didn't say this, okay, and I'm going to do this too. So put your name on the paper as well, because your name, and again, this is this ancient art. And if you didn't hear what I said about the power of what I'm doing, this is just, it is a release ritual to bring and renew and bring in. That is an ancient art that's opening up the possibility to like make a symbolic suggestion through intention that you're physically releasing something that creates a connection between the mind and the brain that you truly physically let go. Now, that being said, you're doing it mentally, and you're doing it physically, but now you got to do it emotionally, which is the things we just been talking about. But you put your name on the paper, and again, salt represents purification. Or I should say the ionic part represents clearing, cleansing, and pulling out toxins. The water itself is more of the purification, the cleansing, which is like kind of like baptism and seeing yourself purified, you know. And the reason that's so connected is because we're 75% water, that our bodies are, and that's why our bodies are so connected to water and so connected to the moon cycles and everything in the universal planets and the solar system all operate through magnetic field that we are magnetic, that holds us together, that connects us to that. So that is the point of the ritual that we're making symbolic to the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, and the physical release here. Okay. And so with that being said, we're symbolically, collectively, even on my letting go of control here and calling in to bring in trust for myself and the universe, we're putting that in the water symbolically to say, I surrender. I let go and I let God. Now we can say that all day, every day. But if you don't mean it, if you don't feel it, you're still hanging on. And if that's the case, that's why this is self-mastery is called practice. And that's why you work on this every day. And you spend even just 5 minutes every day, preferably when you get up in the morning, to connect to yourself, to connect to your heart, connect to your body, your emotions, and let yourself be seen, felt, and heard by you. And that means you're showing up for yourself. That means you're beginning to trust yourself because you're consistently showing up for you. When you technically want somebody else to show up for you, which is nobody's showing up for you, is why you don't trust the process. But when you can show up for yourself and you begin to commit to yourself and you begin to do this on a regular basis, you start to trust in your own self, which is what it takes to truly trust God. Because if you don't trust yourself, you sure can't trust God, and you can't trust other people if you're not trusting your own self. And most importantly, you got to feel it. You got to feel the surrender, the letting go. And I mentioned this earlier, but for all of you that, maybe have come in after, and I want to welcome all of you. I've been kind of zoned in here and tuned in. So I'm going to take a moment when I feel complete and really connect with people. But practice this every day. Spend time listening, and just know that, like these rosebuds, okay, that's resistance, okay? This bud and this flower remained a bud, okay? It's dripping on, that's okay, all right? It's more painful to be stuck like this than it is to let go and open up and expand and be seen in the beauty and to feel and experience the opening of letting go. So when you're constricted, you're a rosebud in pain that isn't at your fullest beauty and potential because you are closed off. Open up, allow. And that's what the combination of this ceremony here, the ritual of letting go and linking it to the water and the waves and how I felt guided to do this. Because let me just say this, I do this every day in my life, and especially since I've been here in Panama City and I get to look out this window and I'm literally putting it into that. I take a walk on the beach almost every day and I'm like letting go into that water. And if you would like me to add you to that, I would love for you to, be sure in either the comments on Facebook or the comments here on YouTube, or in the future even, tell me that you need somebody to hold space for you to help you let something go. And I will add it to my meditation. I'll add it to my energy. I will add it in my walk as long as I'm here in Panama City, which is through first part of March. And I will be someone that can hold space for you to truly know you can trust this, because that's why I'm showing up here. And that being said, I just want to thank all of you that have followed me for years. And obviously, I've had to take my own break to go into my own transformation, to get really connected to myself. And a piece of me taking a break from going so much on social media and sharing and connecting to my audiences, because I've been doing what I'm telling you to do here today. I always say I cannot walk the walk or talk the talk if I'm not walking the walk. And I really got still and I got present and I listened and I showed up for myself. And I knew that what felt like, going backwards is more like building the momentum to come out further, faster, into more and more greatness, more, and it's unknown and it can feel scary. But when you trust it, the sooner you trust it and the sooner you let go, the sooner your breakthrough. So I encourage you to do that today. And with that, I feel kind of complete for what I have to share. But if you've missed any of this, I highly recommend you go back and kind of watch some of the beginning of this, because what I will tell you is I just opened up, became a channel to let come through me whatever needed to. And gotcha, Monica. I'll be holding space for you. Thank you so much for, all of your posts and the things that you share with this universe. And that's the thing is, I know so many people out there that are doing so much for the universe. But remember, it's like being on an airplane. If you can't, you can't help anybody else if you don't save yourself first. And that means put on the mask for yourself that allows you to show up for more people. All right. So if anybody has any questions, be sure to, let me know. And that being said, I just kind of want to share with you just a few of my updates. I've kind of rebranded myself in some ways, in a way that, I'm not I've not gave up on anything on the twin flame journey. I have actually 2 to 3 more books coming really quickly and really soon that are basically done. And I basically am, moving and shifting, though expanding. That's another thing we have to do sometimes is, we can't play it small. We can't stay the same. We can't stay in a box. We have to expand beyond what we've known or who we've been. And that might even call for letting go of an identity. You're welcome, Monica. And, for me, being in the twin flame community has been limiting, like it was limiting for my chiropractic community. Did I give up on chiropractic? No. Am I giving up on twin flames? No. But I have so much more vastness, so much more to help with, so much more, alignment to help people with their tools to ascend, and not just in the twin flame community, but for the whole world, everyone that's going through ascension. And so I've kind of rebranded things a little bit. So you might see some changes, but in that, I'm also taking and sharing a lot of the things I've learned over the last year. I've been working on the last year, 2 years to 3 years really, but like consciously, like really in my physical life and my physical world and my daily practices for the last year have really shifted. And so part of my not coming back was to share these things was because I felt like I needed to get grounded in me, and I needed to get grounded in this commonality between all of the parts of me and that wholeness of myself. And how can I show up for everyone and not just be so limited to one thing or another thing? And so I revamped like my entire everything I've created, and I've still got a few updates to make, but everything I've created, I redid it all in the past like month. I've got more work done. When we give ourselves a break and we step away and we relax and we come back recharged and we come back renewed, it opens up the possibility for us to be clear. So when you let go of something, it clears your space, it clears your mind, it clears your field, it opens you up, it creates the space for something bigger, better, right? And so that's a piece of what I've been doing. And so, I have a lot of new resources, and just to kind of give you some highlights, I got a new resource that if you haven't got it, it's the 5 steps to get aligned. It's a free download. I know on YouTube, you have it in the description. For those of you on Facebook, whenever I get done here, I'll make sure to put that information in. Or if you just tell me in the comment you want that information, I'll send it to you via Messenger. And in addition to that, I've got coming up a week from today is if you're wanting to share your story, one of the things that I'm doing is helping people connect to their stories so that they can turn it into a teaching tool. And everybody has a book inside of them. And it took me years to get the book out of me and to get my message right, and to know how to do it from a place of structure, a formula, a blueprint that I'm now teaching, both online course, and then I'm doing a live on the first part of it, which is a launch I'm doing next weekend. Today is the last day for early bird for that. So if that's something, if you've ever wanted to write a book and you feel called to share your story or to learn more about writing a book, it starts next Saturday and through tonight at midnight. It's half off, or not half off. It's early bird. It's not half off, but it's early bird. And but I will say until the 15th of January. Also, I am doing my annual retreat in Sedona again in April. That is half off, more than half off by, if you commit to it by middle of January coming up. So check out those resources. I'm trying to just think of some resources to help you maybe accelerate that. Oh, here we go. Here's a really good one. I revamped my entire membership program. And so I have a membership that you can do monthly or annual. There's no commitment. It's other than you choosing which one you want, but it's got so much good information and all the new resources and all the exclusive content of the how-tos and the coaching is going into that. And it's so reasonable on, the commitment that you're paying for it. And right now, until I don't remember when it is, I think it's the 11th of January, the annual commitment is half off. So there's a link in that also in the description of YouTube that, if, this resonates with you, then basically you can get a whole year's worth of coaching from me for like $147. And, over the last years, even just a one-on-one session is more than that for like a one-on-one session for that. And which I'm not doing as many of one-on-ones. I am doing some through programs and helping people with their branding and writing their books, and even a version of like stepping into their higher version of reinventing themselves. So I am, but it's more through program than it is like an individual like service. And so that's one of the new things I've been doing, because I feel like that when I show up and work with people, we get things done. And that if we're going to do that, it's a commitment. It's kind of like I told you, my own coach and mentor that just passed away a couple of days ago, when he put out that offer and he said, make this commitment. And there was resistance. I knew that was going to get my breakthrough. So for me, I feel like if, part of their breakthrough is to make that commitment to themselves to get invested and involved at that level. And by doing so, that's part of the breakthrough. So, if that's something that ever resonates with you, you could go on my website and there's a work with me, and there's like a page you can fill out, letting me know like what you're like wanting to work on, and we can connect through that and put together a plan for you. So those are kind of some of the newer things I'm doing, just giving you guys the update on that. But make sure to check out that membership program. And again, I'll put some of those links that I mentioned into my Facebook for everyone, because it is not there, but for everyone on YouTube, either now or in the future, it's all in the description. If anybody needs anything, please let me know. Now would be the time if anybody has a question for me. Again, if you're just joining, make sure to kind of go back and connect to this. And then also make sure that if you are watching this in the future even, let me know what you're letting go of. And if you're needing somebody to hold space, make sure to put that in this comment as well. So thank everyone for joining me, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And I greatly appreciate all of the support. And I also appreciate you giving me this opportunity to have a reason to show up, because it's me showing up and, serving that helps give me a reason to actually heal myself, right? It keeps me committed. It keeps me connected to, the journey of being, I'm going to talk the talk again. I'm going to walk the walk. So, hey, Heather, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining today. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone. And thank you, everyone. I didn't mention this, but I should be having my plan and my goal is to start having my weekly videos back on YouTube every Wednesday. So if you've been following me on YouTube, obviously make sure that you like and subscribe. And you can also put in the comments and let me know what interested topics you would like, what you would like to learn more about. Oh, good, Heather. I'm so glad. She says she really needed this today. And I'm so glad you showed up. But if people let me know the topics on YouTube, especially, and if you like and say subscribe and then you hit the notification bell, then you'll know whenever I come live. But if you could go into there and anything that I've done, and especially if you have not saw my last 5 steps to get in alignment that I did for last Wednesday on the New Year's Day first, you should head over there. So Monica, you should head over to YouTube if you're not already on that, and subscribe to YouTube. Number one, you'll know what I post, but that would also, watch that video I did about all the things I've done and the 5 steps I've used to, step more into my alignment with myself and God. And just so you know, everything we did here today and talked about alignment, that alignment is the things I'm talking about getting aligned with your own heart and your own life and yourself and God. And that's my new kind of message going out there. And that's where, you might see somewhere aligned ascension. We're ascending, but we got to come into alignment with all that to do it. And when we come into alignment, that accelerates our process. And that is actually the name of my membership program, is Accelerate Your Ascension. And again, those links will be available for you. And it is half price through the 11th of January. I can't even think about what month it is. All right. Loads of love to everyone. Love you guys on Facebook. Love you guys on YouTube. And I wish you all an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And look forward to seeing you more videos, more lives. I do probably plan to come a little bit more live next weekend. I won't be able to because I'll be into the writing course where I'm teaching people all the writing. And again, if that's today's the last day for the early bird in that. So if you check out the links and you've been wanting to write a book, it's a perfect opportunity to get plugged into that program. So I send you guys loads and loads of love, blessings, and have a great rest of your day. And we'll talk soon.